But yeah, before you created Nitty Gritty, you were making melodic dubstep under your name Ricky Mears, which I had no idea about. But you even collaborated with Seven Lions in 2016 on the remix of Coming Home. But you did start the Nitty Gritty project later that year in 2016. So like, take us through like that time period of like of your career and like that transition, how it all like happened, how that all happened for you.
Yeah, I mean, I always loved like rock and that type of like, I was really good with melodies. So when I started liking dubstep, I kind of strayed from the heavy stuff and started going to this like melodic area. Um, and then I was like, it was like tough. It's actually hilarious how big melodic dubstep got again, because people don't remember this like gap of like that era was big, but they weren't touring as much. Like there really wasn't like Millennium and Said the Sky and stuff. It was just Seven Lions was the only
Right.
one. So it didn't have this like mass appeal. It just had, if you like him, it was your niche market. And so it was like tough. So I thought that, and I'm like, you know what? I want to make some like heavy music because like it's just tough. I can't really like get all these shows and
Yeah.
excuse me. It
Bless
was
you.
tough. So and also like that's when I started learning a multitude of genres where like I had released heavy shit and trap shit, but I just didn't like put any effort as much into it. So then I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, let me just try and like do some stuff. Then I started making some cool house shit. And it kind of all came together. And that's why I made Nitty Gritty, is to like transfer out of that style and go into like an everything, because I was tired of just being like one little melodic dubstep kid. So
Mhm.
it kind of started the whole do everything brand, which is what Nitty Gritty was.
So it was probably like inspired by playing more shows, more opportunities would be out there for Nitty Gritty than just
Yeah,
melodic.
100%. I mean, also when I hadn't DJ'd a lot and I would watch other people, even Seven Lions, when he was like playing at that time, because I saw his show too, he was like mixing in Skrillex shit and like house shit. And I was like, oh, wow, I guess like a lot of the DJs, the beauty of it is when you're a DJ, you can play a lot more records than if you're in a band, because you only have a guitar. And like that's the beauty of DJing. So it never really hit me until I went to more shows again after my whole producing era. And that
Mhm.
kind of like put it in my head. I was like, wow, like I can have so much fun if I just create a lot more different sounds than sticking to one. So it was kind of like birthed this idea of like, I love being able to fly around different like genres and stuff. And I still have like a massive love for like melodic stuff. So it's really cool to see it come back. And even like some of my Nitty Gritty, like my future based stuff is some of the biggest remixes I've done. So it's like all the melodic stuff always has a super big place in my heart, but it's a lot of fun to play heavy shit, and how it just, you can't, for me, I grew into that where I was like, I like being able to play everything. It was hard for me not to want to do that.
For sure. Yeah, so like going off of that, you're definitely one of the most diverse artists in the scene with like EPs on Confession, Spinning Records, like collaborations with Timmy Trumpet and Blunts and Blondes. Like nobody else really does that where they make everything, at least not that I can think of. So was it always your goal to like pave your own lane in the music industry and like really just do it your own way?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's like that last moment I'm talking about is when we kind of like all decided like, hey, if I can do it, why not? And
Mhm.
it's cool because at least now I have this history that I've been able to do it. And I'm kind of leaning in my new direction to do that, but kind of contain it into a more like mainstream and a pop way, where I really want to make these like big sing along records. Cause then my new whole thing is like, I kind of miss when like progressive and stuff. Cause that's like one of the time periods I got into it where everybody was singing Don't You Worry Child and like shit like that. So like, I don't know, I got this new stuff for Nitty that's like a lot more vocal driven and kind of stuff like that, where I really want to have these like cool big sing along songs. And not that I'll not release bangers and stuff and things of that nature, but it's another kind of turning a leaf for me. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. That sounds awesome.